Hey.
And just throw shots at Pac.
I would respect.
Hey. What's up? What's up? Let's go and get this show on the road, man. Let's get this started. How y'all doing today? Whoever in the chat, man, let me know, man. Show love to the channel. You already know. When you come on the live, if you support this channel, hit the like and the subscribe button. Make sure you do that when you walk into the room, man. That's all I ask. Just hit the like and the subscribe button. I don't ask for nothing else, man. Before I get into the video, man, I just want to say happy birthday and rest in peace to one of the greatest MCs who has ever walked this earth, man. Tupac Amaru Shakur, man. Today is his day, man. We ain't finna waste no time on this live, man. We finna have a good live. Miss Ashley, we is about to talk about that today. We is finna find out why does Tupac constantly get disrespected? Even after death, why does he constantly get disrespected? I apologize for being tardy on this live, man. I've been doing a lot of things. I've been busy, but I'm back. I'm at it again, man. We finna get into it, bro. So today, I want to talk about Tupac and his legacy and why does Tupac constantly get disrespected? Even after death, Tupac has been gone almost 30 years now, and he still gets talked about in a good way and in the bad way. And I just want to find out, I just want to know why does Tupac constantly get disrespected, man? I'm finna try to draw down the bottom line today when it comes to this, so I'm not finna waste no time with y'all. So shout out to the brother Curtis King TV on YouTube, man. He did a video probably maybe about a few weeks ago. I say 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking about why is Tupac constantly getting so much hate and disrespect even after his passing. Tupac passed away September of 1996. It's 2024, and people are still talking about Tupac. They still talking about this man. Even after death, they still speaking on this man's name. And I feel like the disrespect needs to stop. Like, and it ain't just the younger generation. You got some old heads who try to talk down on Tupac as if Pac's influence don't mean nothing in today's rap game, or his influence don't still hit. Like, if a brother has been gone for well over 20 plus years, 25 plus years, should I say, his legacy is something, right? So I just want to get to the bottom of this, man. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to talk about this, man. And anyone that want to join the chat to have this conversation with me, y'all are happy, y'all are glad to do it, man. You know, so we finna get into this video. Shout out to the brother Curtis King TV on YouTube, man. Most definitely, let's get into it.
Hit him up if his music tracking was better.
I don't know if you guys went to the toilet yet, but you know the toilet plays Pac.
I heard, I did pee and I heard Pac. I got scared.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
DIY.
DIYers, I don't know who popularized it. I don't know who was the first one to do it, but it seems like every once in a while, every few years, someone appears to disrespect the legacy, the music of Tupac. Why they choose him as The target, I don't really know, but I think I have a few theories. Who's doing it? Well, it's been young rappers that we're going to talk about. And as of recent, it has been legendary name Questlove. In addition to that,
Facts.
you definitely got to talk about Drake's decision to use Tupac's voice with the assistance of AI for the tailor-made freestyle. But even deeper than that, I put a message here on Twitter. And the responses were really, really interesting because I grew up and I knew Tupac from a distance, right? When I was younger, I wasn't really listening to all this music in the same way that I did when I got older and I became an adult and I became closer to the age that he passed away. So much of the music and the things he was talking about made so much more sense. But I knew him as a revolutionary. I knew him as someone who was an advocate for the youth, for creative expression. I knew him to be just as much on the flip side. He was a Gemini and he was very aggressive in his tactics when it was wartime. He wasn't necessarily, I guess, in the traditional sense what people consider a lyricist, but many of us saw him as a poet. Matter of fact, he has books of poems. A Rose That Grew from the Concrete is probably one that he's most known for in his poetry writing. But what I can tell you about the impact that a Tupac had on me is that he made me want to read so many different books so that I could get a better understanding of how could someone at his age talk with so much confidence?
Right. And that right there, just what Curtis King just said there shows you how special Tupac was. And note, the man was only 25 when he passed away. He was only 25 when he passed away. And Pac spoke with so much conviction and power in his voice, to the point that when you hear him speak, you had to sit down and listen, because you knew this brother was well beyond his years. He was not like your average artist or your average rapper or whatever you want to call it. This brother was a mother effing poet. This brother knew exactly what to say on that pen to that paper to let his point come across. Now, for folks who've been part of my channel for a while will know that I made a Tupac video a long time ago, probably almost about 2 years now. I did a Tupac video that actually helped this channel grow. And it was a time when T-Pain had said some disrespectful remarks towards Pac, saying that Tupac would get ate up lyrically by today's rappers. And I gave my opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people understood what I was saying in that particular video. I'll probably play that video at the end of this live, but for now, I'm going to just stay on the subject at hand. And we're going to get back to the Curtis King video. So let's get into it, man. And also, shout out to Curtis King TV, man. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to his channel. Show him much love, man. Let's get into it.
And so much knowledge. Well, obviously, I've been reacting a lot to the back and forth between Kendrick and Drake. And I don't know what thought came to my mind, but I thought about the first time I heard this Drake bar that at the time I didn't take it as disrespect. But now, because of recent events, I'm starting to look at it from a different point of view. Now, that line is from a song called Fear, a song that really helped to put Drake's sound on the map. The line goes, now, obviously it's not on this page, but before this line, he says, don't get this the wrong way, but I never cried when Pac died, but I probably will when Hove does. I go on to say in his tweet, this Drake bar never sat well with me as a Pac fan. I remember being in middle school. I was at Curtis Middle School, where I get half of my name from, and my classmates were crying when the news was announced over the PA. I was in band class. I remember seeing these kids the whole day, faces slumped. I saw teachers on the campus that were in tears, that were down because of such a monumental figure. And mind you, I was on the West Coast. I was in Carson, California. So obviously there exists a bit more personal connection to a Tupac. But then I started saying to myself, you know, as much as Drake is allowed, like any other human being, to say, look, the way I interpret that line at first was he didn't grow up on Tupac. He didn't connect with Tupac in quite the same way he grew up and connected with the Jay-Z. So in the event that Jay-Z passes away, he will find himself crying because of that said connection. I think the only question I had at that point in time, being a diehard Pac fan, was why does Pac name have to be brought up as the contrasting name? Like, I guess the question is, what is the point that's trying to be proven by using Tupac? Now, I have some other stories here that may help answer that question, because he's not the only one along the way that have used Tupac's name for semi-shock value, for culture shock value, for clicks, views, whatever the case may be. I then go on to say, then years later, we're presented with tailor-made freestyle where Drake mimics Tupac's voice with the assistance of AI. Now, you guys know from those videos, that shit had me pissed off. I'm sure nowhere near the family and the estate who, threatened to sue Drake for doing that. But it led me to the question, why do they disrespect Tupac so much?
Facts. Facts. Big
Why
facts.
Tupac? There's plenty of rappers that have passed away. I feel like I don't hear nearly that amount of disrespect for an Eazy-E, and I wouldn't want it to go in anybody else's direction necessarily because they deserved it, but I just wonder why the obsession with a Tupac. Now, some of you may be asking, well, who else has done this, Curtis? Well, in 2018, you may remember this, there was a young rapper at the time named Lil Xan who was under fire for calling Tupac's music boring. We'll elaborate that in a video that I have here from my guy, the company man, Justin. In 2019, Kodak Black went on to say that Tupac and Biggie, them niggas was just legends because they died. Matter of fact, there's other articles you can find where Kodak Black is saying that he's better than Tupac. You can even get some articles where Triple X Tentacion says that he's better than Tupac. In 2021, Lil Yachty, a frequent collaborator, Drake, says he speaks on the backlash he received after calling Tupac and Biggie overrated and what he learned from it, because he got attacked crazy on the internet by varying groups of people. It was interesting as I was kind of going through these responses and I was responding back to people. I'm gonna go to my profile. I got met with a lot of mixed responses to it, right? Some people just think that I'm just overly obsessed with this whole Drake and Kendrick thing, forgetting I'm a content creator and this is my job. I want to kind of draw your attention to some of these reactions because it helped me to kind of build the case of what I'm now talking to you guys about. Sleazy Reyes says, I remember walking through the hallway at school and seeing girls cry, holding the newspaper articles. We watched I Ain't Mad At You on the TV in class. Shit was sad as hell. Didn't seem real. There is somebody else who was in defense of Drake that says, man, he was like 10 when Pac died. Look, F him, but this is inconsequential to Drake's disrespect. I reminded him that I was 11. I don't think age is the only barrier to stop you from disrespecting a name. If anything, I think that's even more reason not to mention a name if you have no connection with it.
Exactly. Which comes to my first point. If you didn't know nothing about Pac when you was coming up, you don't have to speak on him. Like, I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, when Pac passed away back in 96, I was 5 years old. And if you want to watch my original Pac video that I made some years back, I'll leave the link down here in the bottom of the description at the end of this live. And I explain how I found out about Tupac, how I became a fan, you know what I'm saying? But to make a long story short, I was very young when Pac passed away. I was young. I'm talking about, I was about 5, 6 years old. But once I started growing up and I started listening to his music more, I started understanding it more. It made sense to me, especially when I hit my teenage years. Because by that time, that's when I started going through struggle. You know what I'm saying? As you get older, you start going through struggle. So when you go through struggle, you listen to music to calm your mind. Pac was the music that calmed my mind at the time when I was a kid coming up. And it always stuck with me, no matter what. It always stuck with me as I got older. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see Pac in his glory. I didn't see Pac in the 90s like that. I was a kid when Pac dropped Tupacalypse Now and when he dropped Hit 'Em Up and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was a young child. I was very, very young. You know what I'm saying? But once I listened to the music and once the music hit my ear, I was done. That did it for me. That did it for me. I didn't have to listen to nothing else. I listened to Pac and I stayed that way. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the rest of this live, man.
Right? You don't see rappers on here saying, I didn't cry when Jimi Hendrix died. Well, yeah, because you don't have a relationship with the era of Jimi Hendrix.
I was the same way.
It doesn't quite make sense to make that connection, but yet
still,
it is somewhat of a clickbaity topic to mention Pac's name. I go on to say the problem wasn't age, it was detachment from the culture he's been pillaging. A little harsh. That's what I feel, though. Someone else said, honestly, you make no sense. Drake was 10 years old when Pac died. He probably grew up on Jay's music and was able to soak more of it in. I don't think people understand the conversation or the argument that I'm making. So this is where I had to reiterate some things that are in addition, because it's not just about the line. Rappers say a lot of crazy things that if you put them underneath a magnifying glass, we'd be here all day trying to decipher some things.
Facts.
But I told him, I said, the problem is not him choosing to be a fan of another artist. The problem is why use Tupac as the contrasting example.
Exactly.
I said at first the line is simply a preference. He prefers Jay-Z. He's connected with Jay-Z emotionally over a Tupac. But then I think able to raise some interesting questions. We're able to raise some legitimate questions when we look at things like, after buying the deceased man, that being Tupac, his ring for $1 million at an auction, and then using his AI version voice without any of the estate giving him permission, I thought that this is all things that needed to be questioned. And right now we're having a lot of cultural conversations because of that back and forth. And you're seeing that there are people who are participants to some degree in this culture who really are just squatters. Right. And I think that these conversations make them uncomfortable because they don't want to have to do the research. Someone else went on to say, yeah, the ring thing makes it odd, but to play devil's advocate, maybe he grew up and gained an appreciation for him. I said he appreciated him so much he mimicked him with the help of AI and without the permission of the estate, all to win internet troll points. Sounds about right. Someone else says, is it really that deep? And I always find it interesting is all these dudes with animated profile pictures. Is it really that deep? I said, when it's the culture you love and when it's an artist that I've never got to meet Tupac, but I can genuinely say that the music and the messages that he put out there for the whole individual, I have love for Pac, man. And so I told him, I said, it's always that deep. Evict the squatters. That's what I'm on right now.
Exactly.
Someone else shared their experience when Pac died. They said, at the time, I didn't think Drake made the line to disrespect Pac, only to suggest that he was a kid that wasn't submerged in hip-hop culture, not being influenced by Pac like he was with Hove. However, his recent antics didn't help this bar to age well. That's all I'm saying. Man, shout out to Pac. That's one of my favorite clips of Pac. And I kept doubling, and I kept doubling. I think it's on the Thug Angel DVD.
I gotta have my own. I got to hustle for my own. And any man out there got to feel me. It ain't about milking off the next man. I'm finna come up on my own. I'm gonna get my own sack. I don't want to be nobody worker all my life. I want my own motherfucking kilo.
That's what I mean by how powerful Pac was. Like, Pac can say some shit, man, and he make you feel that shit. Even when you ain't feeling it in your heart, he make you feel that shit. Like that's how deep Pac was, in my opinion. I can't speak for no one else. I'm talking about for me. Every interview of Pac that he ever did in his life, in his career, before his passing, it hits you deep. It hits you. Like, even if it's something as simple as talking about regular stuff, it hits you deep because you knew Pac was gonna say some shit that was gonna be provoking to you. It was gonna be some shit that was gonna hit you a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it, man. Let's get back to the rest of the video.
You understand me? So that's what I did. Ain't no one man gonna stay in one spot forever. That's a sucker. I'm a hustler. I'm gonna come up. So I took what little bit he gave me and doubled up and doubled up and doubled up, and I've been doubling since. And I'm gonna keep on doubling till these niggas kill me, and that's that.
Man, say what you want to say. He was always on fire in these interviews, and we have not seen anything close to that fire. And not even close. Some people would say XXX Tentacion, but I think they're worthy of being in their own categories. Someone else went in, of course, OVOers are very, very sensitive right now. And they don't want you saying anything that pokes at their guy. Someone said, stop with the BS narratives and taking things out of context. You're upset because a 9-year-old didn't feel the same way you did. I said, and I was 11, so what? Also, let's not forget the line in Fear that sets this one up. Don't take this the wrong way, but So apparently he knew that he was going to say something that was going to ruffle some feathers. The line in itself is not the basis for my question. It is the precursor of a lot of questionable Tupac-related actions with this guy. Whatever do you mean? Forget the AI, which is hard to do. Forget the AI on TaylorMade. Forget buying why would you buy a ring for $1 million unless you were trying to play some weird proxy war with Kendrick? And why would you buy a ring for somebody that you had no influence on you, apparently?
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for saying what you just said down in the chat, man. He's an icon. He's an iconic artist, but what's crazy is these idiots like Lil Pump and Lil Xan don't know what true hip-hop is. Exactly. Which is why when they made those comments about Pac, I didn't pay them suckers no mind, no attention. Like, these ain't nothing but culture vultures trying to eat off something that brothers who literally fought for to make this stuff live. If it wasn't for the Pacs, if it wasn't for the Bigs, if it wasn't for the Run DMCs, if it wasn't for the DJ Kool Hertz, if it wasn't for all these brothers that came way even before Tupac, suckers like Lil Pump and Lil Xan would have never nor ever been able to step in this ring that we call hip-hop and be able to flourish. Now, of course it didn't last, but because hip-hop is in the position that is in today, suckers like Lil Pump, Lil Xan, and hell, even Drake can flourish and live and vibe off this culture that we call hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for putting that in the chat. Let's get back to the rest of this video. This finna be a good live today, man. This finna be a great live. Let's get into it.
Not as much as a Jay-Z. Then I got to thinking about some things that you hear when Drake mentions Tupac. Have you ever seen this clip here on the Rap Radar podcast interview that he did some years ago? Check this out.
You know,
you like celebrating Ho's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. I wake up in the morning. I start drinking espressos. I wake up in the morning. Yeah, I start drinking espressos. I wake up, have like a, nice balanced meal, put on some great music. I don't know if you guys went to the toilet yet, but the toilet plays Pac.
I did pee and I
heard.
And see, this is one of the main reasons why I do not respect Drake as an artist. I really don't. Good pop rapper. But as far as being an artist, I don't respect him. I ain't gonna lie. Because I remember when he said this, he was doing an interview with, I can't think of his name right now, for Rap Radar. And he said that. I said, huh? I said, what the hell you mean in the toilet? Like, what the fuck? Man, I wanted to slap the taste out of fucking Drake for saying that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I got scared.
Yeah, I know, yeah, it's just curating the space, but it's
like really.
I saw many clips from that interview, and I was more so interested in the whole back and forth between him and Pusha T. This is something that I did not even hear until someone posted this up here, and I saw a few people post it, but you don't find that kind of weird?
Right.
You don't find that kind of weird in itself? And we're focusing right here on Drake only because it's the most recent person I feel that has disrespected or has at least been insensitive about the way that they represent the name, the estate of a Tupac. But using the man's music as a ringtone for when you're taking a piss, using the man's voice, a dead man's voice, for a diss song that's used to troll Kendrick Lamar, buying a dead man's ring just so you can show it off on Instagram. These are the questionable things that make me feel like my guy here, Anthony Fantano.
It's such a meme at this point, just to even say the man's name and be a rapper. Just leave Tupac the fuck alone.
That part.
Just leave
exactly.
Him alone.
Exactly. Leave him the fuck alone. Pac been gone well over 25 years. He can't defend himself no more. Cause y'all know damn well if Pac was still alive, breathing, half you suckers that's rapping wouldn't be rapping at all. And the other suckers who talking will be running with their tails between their legs. If we gonna be real. If we gonna be 100 about this. Yeah, some of y'all know damn well if Pac was still alive, may God rest his soul. Half you fat, no, I almost said something I ain't had no business. I almost said something I had no business saying on here. Let me slow down before I say something I ain't got no business saying. I almost said something, but back to what I said. Y'all know dang well if the late great Pac was still alive, if he was still alive, y'all know dang well y'all would have never been able to say half the things y'all be saying on this internet. That includes rappers, trolls, and all these suckers that's on here. That's on this internet, should I say. Because one thing about Pac that I always respected, if Pac got a problem with you, he gonna step to you like a man. That's what he do. Gotta remember, we talking about early 90s. Wasn't no such thing as internet. So you either had to put up or shut up, plain and simple. If you wasn't willing to put up or shut up, this all you was doing, just talking, because you weren't really about that action. And a lot of people that know that Pac is not here no more, he's not around to defend himself for nothing in the world. People can run their mouth and talk and bump their gums, knowing ain't no consequences behind the things they say. I think we can all agree to that on here, on this live. Let's get back to the rest of this video, man.
Let him rest in peace. Let his friends and family live out the rest of their lives without you shitting on the dude's legacy. But let's explore.
And in a very ironic twist of things, Questlove chimed in on his opinion of one of Tupac's most infamous moments in the Hit 'Em Up song. As people have been kind of ranking where these Kendrick and Drake songs rank in terms of diss songs or beef songs, folks have been compiling lists, and then individuals like the legendary drummer Questlove of The Roots is giving his points of view. And usually he gives a really, really insightful point of view on just his opinion of music and soul music. I've seen many documentaries where he gives a great POV on things. Very intelligent man. This was unfortunate to hear, because once again, I don't know why Tupac ends up being on the receiving end of shit like this.
I would actually respect Tupac's Hit 'Em Up.
Yes.
If his music tracking was better. This sounds to me like
hot takes. Here we go.
No, this sounds like it. Look, I've already gone on the internet and spoke, but Hit 'Em Up to me is disqualified not because of the overly
vitriol.
Yeah, the misogynist. Like, forget all that. It's like, dude, you're rhyming over like smooth jazz dinner music.
Dennis Edwards.
Like literally.
What the?
Luther Vandross can sing over this.
Okay, wait, hold on.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't.
I don't get it neither.
Like, I get saying things for hot takes. Maybe he's had this take for many, many of years. But family, I really don't understand why he keeps being the receiving end. You know, once again, I would understand if these folks were specifically affected, and maybe they were in many, many walks of life, by the actions of a Tupac. But I just feel like they're using it to rewrite his contribution, even though you still see artists in interviews. You still.
Right. And let me say this here before I let the rest of the video go. I was one of the ones. I wasn't the biggest fan of Hit 'Em Up, only because it was about Biggie, and it got to a point where the beef got real, real serious, and you knew what happened after Hit 'Em Up came out. That's the only reason why I wasn't the biggest fan of Hit 'Em Up. And I felt like when Pac made Hit 'Em Up, he knew what he was doing when he made Hit 'Em Up. He knew as soon as he said, first off, F you and the clique you claim, you knew Pac was trying to get everyone's attention because Pac came strictly direct at Big and Bad Boy. He didn't waste his time. He didn't bite his tongue. He came strictly at them for the shock value. He knew somebody was going to have to respond behind this. Pac knew that, which is why he made the damn song. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that to give more context about it. But let's get back into it.
See artists who in their music, their vulnerable music, the music that is inspired by the Brenda's Got a Baby, Keep Your Head Up, the music that is inspired by Shed So Many Tears, all of these different songs that are now always permanently in the DNA and the fabric of certain types of hip hop songs, how they continue to rewrite that. Hit 'Em Up is another one. When we talk about the most vitriol, some of the most impactful diss songs of all time, they talk about No Vaseline and they do talk about Hit 'Em Up. But I just think it's really interesting, especially when you think for a second, okay, so he calls the sample something that Luther Vandross would have been singing on. Matter of fact, I think somebody did a remix as a meme, so maybe that's where some of that comes from. Just get money. The whole idea was that it was a play on a song popularized, on a certain sound popularized.
Exactly.
Where you hear get money. That's why I'm gonna throw it. You're hearing that because this is a direct response to. Which, by the way, I don't know how a beat disqualifies a diss song. That's
exactly. I don't even know where the hell that come from. Where that come from? If you gonna make a cold ass diss song, you gotta have a cold ass beat. Yup, I remember it too. I remember the first time I saw Hit 'Em Up. I remember too that man. Woo! That's one diss song I can never really listen to again because it's one of them diss songs that's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful that honestly somebody got to get hurt behind it. I'm not gonna lie, like that's easily one of the most disrespectful diss songs that has ever really came out. The one that's greater than that is No Vaseline, but after No Vaseline, Hit 'Em Up is right there. Like it's very disrespectful, nasty, no holds barred. You don't hold back nothing. You don't bite your tongue. You just let it be known. Then in the end, Pac said F everybody. You might would say he said F everybody because he didn't hold back nothing. Man, I'm telling you, man. Pac was something else for real, man. Let's get back to the video.
Let them finish it off. Music producers, rappers, and singers, are you looking to get some constructive feedback on your new...
Be fast forward that because that's a commercial. We ain't got time for that.
We are hold on. This is Dennis Edwards.
Wait,
right? Am I right?
Yeah,
this is Dennis Edwards song.
Wait, I'm curious.
Don't look any further.
I'm curious because I know
I don't know how old you are. I'm not even.
Well, let's not reveal that now.
Okay, yeah.
But I assume that you might be
a couple of years,
4 to 5 to 6 years younger than me.
We'll see.
Right. No, but this is always a difference because people who are born in the latter part of the decade that I was born in. All right, I was born in the 70s. Newsflash.
All right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, like their relationship with Tupac is different than my relationship.
Yes.
And so thus, when this came out, I was just like, they were like, yo, this hard as shit, man. Yo, he's killing it. And I was just like, dog, he's smooth, jazzed up Dennis Edwards. Like, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But you gotta respect the legend. He has his point of view. He's obviously been a contributor to this culture for way further than I was even thought about, right? But it's just disappointing to continue to see. The man's not even here to defend himself or to
exactly.
And it seems like so many of the people that would be here, I feel like Tretch is one that definitely still gets opportunities to speak on his behalf, are no longer here with us or have been pushed off to the side. And I really don't get it. Now, some of my initial theories, I guess, when I think about some of the disrespect is, could these younger artists, right? And Justin brilliantly breaks this all down. Could some of these artists feel a certain level of jealousy towards a Tupac? Jealousy for what? Well, every time you get another artist that is impactful on a social level, that is impactful on a musical level, that has aggression and vulnerability in their music, I'm sure that there are journalists, there are fans that are like, yo, you're the Tupac of our generation. And I imagine for young artists, that could be a very overwhelming title to hold, especially because Tupac did all of the things that we have heard about, from the movies, from the awards to the ridiculous prolific output of music. He did that all in under 25 years of life. Somebody gonna have to tell.
Which is why I always say you will never have another Tupac. Never. You would never have another Tupac. You can have over 1 million rappers rapping, and they can make music just as good to Pac, close to Tupac, but there'll never be another Tupac. Even when Pac went from the rhymes to the movies, he was just as good as being an actor than he was being a rapper, a MC. And yes, Ashley, I agree with you. I feel like it is kind of like envy. I feel like it is envy because any true Pac fan knows, and Pac said this before he died, when I go, I want to be remembered like Elvis. What rapper do you know say stuff like that on that kind of level when they said when they die, when they pass on, I want to be remembered like Elvis. I want people to remember me like white folks remember Elvis. It's been over 25 years since Pac gone, and we still speaking on Pac's name to this day, just like the white folks still speaking on Elvis' name to this day. You can't tell me a brother like that is not legendary. If you feel like he ain't, I'm going to leave the link down in the comments so you can tell me why you feel like he's not. But before we get to that point, let's get back to the rest of this video, man. Yes, sir, man. Let's get back to it.
25 years of life, and we're still talking about him today. We're still talking about him, and he passed away in 1996, and we're still talking about him today. I was always told that people don't attack people they don't think are threats.
But I don't feel like that's my job, to humble myself to show you that I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat unless you're a threat to me.
And so I wonder how much that has to do with it. Is that, do they feel a certain level of intimidation? And so the way to fight that is to belittle his contributions, to belittle his legacy, to try to warp whatever vision that you have of Tupac before your eyes, and whatever your older uncles and brothers told you about it. Maybe I can somehow warp this and we can hyper focus on things like him rapping over jazz beats for a diss song. Hyper focus on, well, he always said Hennessy and enemies in his song. Hyper focus on these things that really don't tell the full story of who Tupac was, and his impact that he still has here today.
Facts.
Worldwide.
We do.
Justin breaks down a lot of this stuff in this
we
clip.
We still do. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. Rest in peace to her too.
Taking over hip hop, and it falls along a generational lines, of course. Last week, Lil Xan, are you familiar with Lil Xan? We've talked about it.
He did that one song that everyone likes.
Did a segment on Revolt TV called Clout 9. Now, this is where they rate things on a clout scale. And on the clout scale, they asked Tupac, where's Tupac rank on a clout scale? He gave Tupac a 2 on the clout scale.
9 being the highest.
9 being the highest. And said that Pac is boring. Right.
Who does he like to listen to?
He listens to younger artists.
Which I don't necessarily have an issue with, a Lil Xan saying that a Tupac is boring. But once again, the question.
But I ain't mad at him saying that, because again, he was a youngster. I don't expect for him to know about Tupac. I don't expect for him to know about Tupac. So it is what it is when it comes to that. But the real ones know, though. That's all that matters.
Question comes back to, why are they continuously using Pac as the gauge? Now, some of this blame does shift over to the people who are interviewing a young rapper like a Lil Xan, because they're asking him questions purposely to set him up. Right. However, any situation, you have a reaction that you can give, that you can just be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to touch that. I don't really know about bro's music, but respect to him and his family. But they don't seem to take that road. Why? Because
they don't want to do it.
For talking bad upon the legacy of Pac.
Right.
You know, the clip that came out that went viral, that was the piece that they highlighted from that interview. Waka Flocka came out after that, said Lil Xan is banned for dissing Tupac. But what we have now is a trend almost of young artists.
He wasn't the first one. There was a cat from Long Beach that actually could spit. That was like,
well, there's a few cats. I mean, OG03 Greedo had a big paragraph about that recently. We had Lil Yachty.
So he can't name 5 Tupac songs.
Exactly. You have XX Tentacion. He did a whole rant online, said that he...
Mind you, this video is about 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's old. That video old.
6 years now. We're still talking about unnecessary disrespect towards Pac. You would think he's responding back to people and they're hashing up new beefs because of what he said. He's been gone. He's been gone for a very long time.
Better than Tupac.
So did Kodak Black, I see here.
Kodak Black. Joey Badass. He actually said he's better than Tupac as well, but from a technical, lyrical standpoint, he wasn't necessarily looking at, Pac's legacy and contribution.
Here's a tough thing to like. It's easy to fucking stand on the shoulders of giants and say how much better you are than them. It's like ball players and shit like that. Like you didn't think they'll do the crossover, and someone else did the crossover, and then you copied them.
Can I add also that you're here as a product of the doors that they opened up for your little ass?
Exactly. That's what I said earlier. If it wasn't for Tupac, if it wasn't for Biggie, if it wasn't for Nas, if it wasn't for a Hov, half of you suckers that's rapping today wouldn't be around it at all. Like straight up. If it wasn't for these guys, y'all would have never been able to have careers in this rap game. You know what I'm saying? That's just real talk. If we gonna be honest, y'all would have never been able to have any kind of chance in this rap game thinking you can talk down or talk crazy about dudes who actually paid the way and show love to this shit. Trying to talk crazy about these individuals who actually put down the real blood, sweat, and tears. Y'all just coming in reaping the rewards and the benefits. You ain't put in no real blood, sweat, and tears. You come after the hard work that already been built. Y'all came after the wall and got put up. These guys came when the wall was still crumbled. So who is y'all to try to talk down on dudes like Pac, who actually helped contribute to this rap game to become bigger and become a worldwide phenomenon? That's the question that I have to ask today. Why?
Can I mention that? Am I being biased when I say that? This standing on the shoulder of giants is so spot on by Rude Jew, because a lot of these doors that have been knocked down, a lot of the opportunities that you have to have an audience that is ready to hear your vulnerable music, that wants to see an artist that is not perfect, but see an artist that is damaged.
Facts.
He talks about this in his
Them
book,
big facts.
Smarter.
Them
He
is
talks
big
about
facts.
how hip hop has a fascination. Hip hop fans have a fascination with figures that are in some rights dysfunctional, that they're damaged, because you have a female fan base that wants to help him heal, wants to see him get through it, and you have a male fan base that sees a little bit of themselves inside of him. So this is a part of the fabric of even these artists, and they have no idea that that's why they are who they are today.
And moved it forward.
I mean, look, I definitely understand a generation gap. I do.
Yeah.
There's certain things that go a little far. Now, here's what 03 Greedo said. This is one of the most anticipated artists coming out of L.A. right now. He said Pac sucks. He called him a bitch-ass nigga, said, do they need a nigga who can really rap to tell you Tupac sucks? Any type of East Coast, West Coast beef, cats from the East Coast, he's delusional. Pac's a great actor. Part of his music shit was acting. But I go to court on Friday. I got a whole metal leg. I'm really from the projects. I really got my hood on my face. My first major project is called The Wolf of Grape Street, the gang I'm from. Lil Xan didn't say anything wrong. Pac was a bitch-ass nigga.
Wow. And for anyone who is a fan of OG Greedo, I think he just got out of prison recently. I think he did like a 2 or 3 year bid. but yet you speaking on Pac's name. I'ma just leave that right there for the Killer Room flow. I'ma just leave that there for the Killer Room flow. Let's get back to the video.
And then fast forward, your goat over here painting his nails.
Next.
Your goat over here having rage beige sessions at the end of Heart Part 6.
Facts.
What is going on? What is going on? Because I'm not gonna speak on that individual in particular, but it's crazy how some of the same folks who have these criticisms of Pac and what I'm saying, his bravado or his street connection or whatever the case may be, they don't hold the same people up that are current in the same light. It's like the game evolved into something else and they just don't even see it the same way, but they judge current day parameters differently than they do for a Pac who lived in a whole different time. Who did, I don't want to highlight these things, but he did, bro was wilding out. Like Justin talks about this shit right now.
To be fair to Pac, let's see, he was locked up, he was in jail, shot up, born in a prison. Like, what? Shot twice?
What?
Like, what else do you need?
Exactly.
Like, what else do you need?
He got shot 5 times. He took it and laughed.
And not only that, one of the most remarkable things about Pac, what a lot of people don't talk about. I mean, people talk about it, but not like how they talk about him getting shot 5 times and all that. Pac actually shot at 2 off-duty police cops. He shot at 2 off-duty police cops. If you think I'm lying, all you got to do is Google it and look it up. He shot at 2 off-duty police cops to protect the dude that was getting harassed by the police in Oakland. Early 90s. I want to say maybe 93, 94. I'm not really sure. But Pac shot at 2 off-duty police cops to help a brother that was getting harassed and beat up by the police. If that's not one of the most coldest things you ever heard about a person, I don't know what is. Let's get back into it.
Yeah.
Then he got shot again.
And he got shot out with the cops. Then he had to shoot out with the cops.
Like, just on low level perception. I don't think there's anything bitch ass about that series of events.
Talk about it, Justin.
Now,
I mean, and you know what? Not to tailor the conversation off in a different direction, because this is not about just, it gets tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. When I found out about it years ago, I was like, damn. At first, I thought it was a lie. I'm not even going to lie to you. But when I did my research, I said, damn. For real, like real talk, it real. It is. It is a trip. It really is, man. That shows you, man, Pac was a man of the people, man. He was willing to sacrifice himself for another brother that he didn't even know. He wasn't with the outlaws. He wasn't with thug life. He was just a random dude that was getting harassed by the police, and Pac said, F it. I'm like, wow.
Because there's street politics that have to be broken down by people who are participants in that lifestyle that I think are much more worthy conversation.
And when it comes to the whole OG3 though thing, again, I don't agree with none of the things he said at all. But I'm going to play this. MC8, legendary rapper from the West Coast, he talked about Pac, him getting, kind of intertwined with Death Row, and the affiliation kind of messed him up. And I agree, because I do feel like at the time when Pac got out of jail, when Suge Knight spent over that $1 million to get him out of prison to be with Death Row, I always felt like Pac was in a messed up situation. It was like either Pac had to be down with the Row, or Pac would have had to try to find something else outside of what he was already doing. And I feel like at the time, because Suge Knight, he was the one that put the money up and bailed him out. Because you got to remember, once Pac went to prison for the sexual assault stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff, Interscope dropped them. They dropped them like a bad habit. Even though Me Against the World was the #1 album in the country, they dropped them like a bad habit. And Suge Knight bailed them out. You know what I'm saying? He bailed them out. And Pac put his loyalty to Suge, which I felt like ended up being his downfall, unfortunately. That's just my personal opinion of how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. Let's get back to the rest of this video.
Than what I can give you here. But all I can say is this. They continue to move the goalposts for why they continue to pull down the legacy of Pac. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, he couldn't do this today. He couldn't do this today. But yet and still, all of y'all still talking about him.
Facts.
It's a lot of folks that passed away since 1996. But they're still talking about him. And I think as much as I look at this as a Pac fan and say, damn, why y'all coming at him? Another part of me feels empowered and says, why the hell would they not come for Pac?
Right.
He was that impactful.
Right.
On a spiritual level, he was that impactful. On a cultural
right.
level, he was that impactful.
Right.
Pac had the kind of rap voice that you didn't have to know the language, but there's a reason why you have parts all over the world, including Africa, where folks are saying, I don't necessarily understand what he's saying, but I understand the most universal language amongst all the stuff in his music, which is the aggression, the emotion, the sad nature in some of these songs. Shed so many tears, man, pain. Like all these songs have they emit that energy that you don't necessarily have to understand the words to appreciate. So I wonder how many of them would love to do that for their audience, but one, they don't have the ability to, or they don't think they do, or two, they're talking to such a emotionally detached generation that to do that, they have to do things that actually move other people's emotions, right?
Exactly.
Which is talk shit about the people that we hold up in a high light. Talk shit about the people who are actually out here in the communities, that were actually trying to make as many changes as they could on a grassroots level.
Exactly. And all that Curtis King just said right there is the #1 reason why I have so much respect for Tupac in a high regard. And so much shit people try to talk of Pac. They never talk about Pac when he was really in the communities. Pac was literally doing speeches in the height of his career. The man was literally doing speeches. Like the man was giving out, doing speeches. He did speeches for the Nation of Islam. He did speeches for a lot of youth, you know what I'm saying, in Oakland, in Marin City. Pac did I don't know how many years he did it, but I know Pac, he was doing like a Bloods and Crips unity type of thing in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? And he was doing a lot of things with the community, for the community. You know what I'm saying? So when people try to speak crazy about Pac, try to talk down on the man, I feel away because I became a fan outside of the music. I start understanding who he was as a man more than what he was as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Which is why it's titled, Why Does He Constantly Get Disrespected After His Death? And my answer to that is because a lot of people who wish they was him couldn't be him. Straight up. The ones who talking about some, I'm better than Tupac lyrically. Okay, good for you. But nigga, when it comes to Pac, nigga, it's deeper than lyrics, nigga. It's deeper than rap. So you can miss me with that bullshit. It gets deeper than the rap. It gets deeper than the music and the rhyme schemes and all that when it comes to Pac. Pac was a man of the people for real. You know what I'm saying? That's why so many people connected to him the way they did. And he's still connected to the people even after his passing. Let's get back to the video. We finna get ready to wrap it up.
when Kendrick said, I don't think the Bay gonna like you disrespecting Pac, nigga. He said, I think that Oakland stop gonna be your last stop. Drake canceled that Oakland stop for a reason.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
What do you need to do? Like, what do you fucking need to do?
Did he need face tats?
Just fight a gorilla or some shit? Like, what do you, like?
Maybe Pac needed to have face tats. Would have changed everything.
Or because he wasn't gang affiliated or some shit like that?
Perhaps. I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, this is where I think it's interesting, right? Because I understand the generation gap. Again, I can understand saying, hey, you know, if I really go back and listen to old school rap or even some of the first rappers, you have to be able to think about them being great at that time because they don't sound that great now anymore just because of evolution. That's just how stuff happens.
Yes.
But really getting at attacking people's, you know,
do you think he's just
credit.
I mean, do you think he's just kind of doing that to get us to talk about him? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what's been working for rappers the last couple years, just trolling.
That's what it is.
Now, is it now that cool to just come out?
There's a whole lot of niggas that use Pac's name for clicks, likes, and views. Let's just be honest. They'll use Pac's names for clicks, likes, and views. No different when they, you know, when they get on this internet and they do stuff for any type of entertainment purposes. They trying to do something for shock value. They doing it for clicks, likes, and views. That's how I see it. I've been doing this YouTube podcast stuff for a minute now. And I've done realized that there's a lot of people that do a whole lot of shit only for clicks, likes, and views, straight up. They don't care if it makes them look like a goofy. They don't care if it makes them look stupid. They know they're going to get a whole lot of views. They're going to generate a whole lot of revenue behind it because they said this name or that name. No type of substance behind what they talking about. They can just say Tupac, the fakest rapper ever. And they know people going to jump on the video and see what he's talking about because they're going to see the title say Tupac is the fakest rapper ever. No different than when someone say Tupac is the weakest lyricist ever or stuff like that. Because they know people who are fans of these individuals, people who hold these people up in kind of a high regard are going to jump in and they're going to say what they say in these comments and get on their head because they say what they say. But their plan is to not to let you get to them to listen to the message. Their plan is for you to help them run up clicks, likes, and views so they can constantly stay relevant. If I'm right or am I right? I'm just saying.
Out and just throw shots at Pac or throw shots at any legend.
It seems like it, Justin. It seems like it. Here's my final thoughts on this. I do hope that we can get to a time period. And I kind of hoped it was going to happen after the All Eyes on Me movie dropped. I thought that we would get a different perspective for those who are younger, who didn't understand his impact. You know, I don't think we'll ever get an opportunity for them to fully grasp it, even with all like the art installations and pop-ups that you see that are out here. Certain things you could only understand by living through them and experiencing them. But I will say this. What I noticed when XXX Tentacion was murdered was that the reaction that I saw in those same kids who might have been talking shit about a Tupac, I started to notice a very familiar sadness in their voices, very familiar hopelessness that they seemed to put out there about what would this world be like without the person that they were looking up to, without the person that was providing music that was like the life force that drove them, right? There's a lot of people that feel like that about Pac as well. Still to this day. There are family members, right? When I see Mo Preem doing interviews and you see him walk around certain topics very carefully because you can tell as a family member, one, as his brother, that this is something that still touches him at his core.
Exactly.
Just moments away because, of course, the memories of Pac are going to bring up memories of Afeni. So it's like, I really hope that collectively we can do what we can. I'm trying to do this with my platform to share these stories about Pac so that people understand, like, one, we understand, like, the jig is up. We see that people use the name for clicks and all of that good stuff. And that also the people that I, in my opinion, feel like are doing colonization of this culture, going in different regions, taking their resources and then paying the money in exchange for it, taking it and adding that sauce to their next Drake album. I think it's important that we hold up these actions, because now it starts to get to a place where it's like, no. This is not just I'm disconnected because I was too young when you passed away. Now this is getting into a place where it seems like you're going on the offensive. Insane the way they treat the legends. Hopefully that gives a lot of these younger artists perspectives on how one day they may treat you.
Exactly. Shout out to the brother Curtis King, man, the Curtis King TV, for that very, very dope video he did, man, about the Tupac and the disrespect Tupac has been getting ever since his passing and death, man. If y'all want to support his channel, I do have the link down in the bottom of the description at the end of the live. Y'all can support him and check that video out for yourselves, man. Yeah, man. So before I go for the day, man, I just want to say this. For a young artist who say they love music, who understand music, this is my thoughts. If you didn't come up in the era when Pac, Biggie, and them guys really laid it down and showed the foundation, when they really was digging in and really was just giving us some of the best music of our time, don't speak on it. Don't speak on them. Don't even bring their names up, because now you're going to put yourself in the conflict of interest of people who trying to be fans of you, but yet you worried about a person you never even seen or heard before. And it makes you look like a goofy. You know what I'm saying? I wish I can play some Tupac songs, but I know if I play any Pac song, they gonna flag this damn live, and I don't want them to do that. I do not want them to flag my live, man. So I'm do this here. I'm gonna put the link in the description for anybody who wants to get on here, man, and chop it up with me before I get off of here. You know, if anyone that want to get on the live, man, and chop it up with me about this whole topic regarding the Tupac, man, you can get on here. You know what I'm saying? The floor is open. The floor is yours. I just dropped the link in the comment section for anyone that want to get on the live and want to chop it up with me when it comes to Tupac. You can. I have no problem with that at all. Like I said before, man, until I hear any MC make songs like how Pac made songs, they can't say nothing to me about Tupac. They can't even bring their name. They can't even dare to even try to even talk about Pac, let alone trying to disrespect or talk down on the man's name. I'm not going for that. Until they make a song like this, I don't want to hear nothing about these folks. Oh, Tupac or whatever. I don't want to hear it, man. I don't even want to hear it, man. Real talk. I'm gonna just let the first verse go. Anybody want to join the live can join the live. I got the link in the comment section. That's all I can play. I don't want to play no more than that. I don't want these folks to flag my live down, man. But anybody want to join the live right now, you can join the live. It's no, you know what I'm saying? You can join. We can chop it up, speak about Tupac, his legacy, what he means to the game and whatnot, man. So anybody want to join the live can join right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I just feel like, man, as legendary as Pac was, and he did all this shit before the age of 25. Like, I'm still, like, my mind is still like, this man, he accomplished all these things before the age of 25. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of people do not want to understand how big his impact is. Like, the brother is known outside of the US. Like, if you go to any other country, like if you go outside of the US, you go to a whole nother continent, you bring up Tupac, they don't know who you talking about. Like, Tupac is well beyond international. Well beyond international, man. And all these folks that want to speak on his name, they just need to go somewhere with it. They just need to take their ass on somewhere and go on. Like, they need to find them something to do. That's how I feel. Like, I just feel like they need to find them something to do because they ain't got nothing going. To try to speak on a brother whose music still resonates to everybody today. And I feel like a lot of these rappers today do not understand that. They do not understand how any music you make can still resonate to the next generation. Pac's music still resonates to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Whether they like it or not, his music still resonates to the next generation, man. And for that, man, I say thank you. I say it's just like it's impactful. You feel me? Like, it's just impactful. I ain't really got nothing else to say after that. So I'm gonna go on and wrap this live up, man. But before I get up out of here for the day, you know what I'm saying? Before I get up out of here, let me say this here. I want to appreciate y'all for joining the live today, man. I most definitely appreciate it. Much love and appreciation to y'all. We are at 698 subscribers as of today. You know what I'm saying? So for the ones who've been supporting me since I first started, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You feel me? Most definitely, man. Shout out to the brother Curtis King of Curtis King TV. You know what I'm saying? For showing love for the video that he made, man. I got the link down in the bottom of the description below. Also, if you want to show love to the Deep Thought, if you want to join the Deep Thought, if you want to show love to my channel, all you got to do is to hit the like button and the subscribe button. You dig me? Peace and one love. We're gonna leave this live with Tupac, man. I'm gonna let the rest of the song play. F it. I don't even care. Let the rest of the song play. Until a hip hop artist makes songs like this, I can't hear nothing to him. I can't listen to him. Rest in peace, Tupac. Rest in peace, Afeni Shakur, man. Peace and one love, y'all. I will be back with another live stream very, very soon, man.